we do research and we put out stuff, and our guy Zach Poff finds more. And we're going to send it over to Zach Poff in the locker room where he has even more information on national record breakers.
And you guys did a good job. I had to dig deep for these, but we're going to go through a few. And it's always nice to see some new names breaking records in high school football. So we're going to go ahead and start, sorry Steve, not on the defensive side of the ball, but the most important position on the gridiron. Of course, that is the quarterback. Now, Alex Austin from Glendale, Missouri, the senior QB, had one of the most impressive seasons stat-wise this year in 2014. He had 2 separate games where he completed 58 passes, which tied Grant Sherman's record for most completions in a game he set last year at Kenton High School in Ohio. And the one thing they had in common is head coach Mike Mock, who moved out to Missouri to be closer to his son Matty Mock, the current starting quarterback for the Missouri Tigers. And Mike Mock, one of the best offensive minds in the country. Austin finished this season with 4,084 yards passing, which was third best in Missouri State history. He set the state record for most completions with 379, and back in October he threw 9 touchdowns in a game, also a state record he set this season. But when speaking of quarterbacks and records, we got to start with Folsom's 4-star QB Jake Browning. Now, late in the fourth quarter last week, he hit Jake Jeffrey for a 1-yard score and surpassed the current quarterback for Missouri, Matty Mock, who set the national record in 2011 with 219 passing touchdowns while playing for his father, Mike Mock, at Kenton. The craziest thing about Jake Browning, though, is it only took him 3 years to throw 220 touchdowns. He had 63 as a sophomore, 75 last year, and an astounding 82 this season during his final year as a Folsom Bulldog. Now just let that sink in for a second. 82 touchdown passes in 14 games. The 2015 University of Washington commit became the second high school player to ever throw for at least 80 touchdowns in a season, and Browning potentially has 2 more games this year, so there's still a chance he could flirt with passing Corey Robinson's 91 touchdown mark he set in 2007 for Lone Oak out in Kentucky. Now, sticking on the offensive side of the rock, how about the year Navasoto's Tren'Davian Dixon has had this year? And he still could potentially have 2 more games this season. The 6'1", 180-pound 4-star Baylor commit has reeled in 34 touchdown grabs, which ties him with former Prosser High star and former Boise State Bronco Kirby Moore, who set the mark in 2008. The stud junior wideout has 74 grabs for nearly 2,000 yards, and he's taken it to the house 46% of the time he gets his hands on the rock. Dixon has a good chance to break the national record against Liberty Hill in the 4A D1 semifinal Texas playoffs later on tonight. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Dixon sets a new national mark before the game reaches halftime. And very impressive what these 3 young studs are doing this year. Anytime you get your name in the history books, you always got to be very proud of that.